the coverage of social protection being quite very low. According to the data that we have, at least only 2.8% of the vulnerable Ugandans are covered by one social protection program, and this of course is quite very low and is below the sub-Saharan average of 17%. But we also note that there are other aspects of the life cycle, such as vulnerabilities relating to persons with disabilities that don't have a particular specific intervention other than the special grant for persons with disabilities. But also, we also note that majority of our sector is informal, with about 70 to 80% of the persons in the informal sector, but our coverage for social security is largely for the formal sector. We note that the NSSF, which has about 2.2 million savers, is only for persons in the formal sector, and those in the informal sector have largely not been covered by most social protection across the country. To address some of the challenges that we have, one of the things that the ministry has done is to adopt a life cycle programming to social protection. And the life cycle means looking at a human being from the time they're born to the time they leave this world. And we have, in the National Development Plan 4, sponsored a number of interventions to expand the scope and coverage of social protection. One of them is, for the children, is to address specifically malnutrition through implementing nutrition-sensitive and specific social protection interventions. But we're also looking at lowering the age for the older persons under the Senior Citizens Grant, or call it the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment. But also government is looking towards working with other stakeholders to develop specific social protection products for the informal sector, as well as strengthening the policy and legal framework for social protection, with specifically on improving our targeting systems through developing a social registry. So these and some of the various interventions that we have sponsored in the National Development Plan 4 will enable us uplift and move coverage for social protection from where it is to somewhere closer to where we have majority of our persons protected from risks and vulnerabilities that they face. Social protection, or risks and vulnerabilities, are across the life cycle. They keep occurring. There is no timeline that you must achieve this by a particular time. Of course, we're informed by the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG targets, that help us as a country to try and benchmark our progress towards this. And that is what we also try and benchmark ourselves to. But we also are alive to the National Development Plan, which has specific timelines. NDP 3 is just ending, and we're starting NDP 4. And as well, when we implement these interventions, we try to benchmark ourselves to the timelines provided in these frameworks.